Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP army. Let's waste no more time and take a look at what's happening with XRP and what we could be expecting going into Thursday morning. Looking across the board, as far as the 24-hour scale goes, we're seeing broader market still seeing green, but at the same time, a few handful of coins that are still seeing a little bit of retracement across the board. But overall, once again, it was not a bad day overall as far as, the momentum is concerned. But looking at the price of XRP, $2.99, almost at $3 price point going into Thursday morning. And just based off of looking at where the price is, how important this specific level really is. But we're down about 0.4% in USD comparative, down about 1.7% in BTC comparative side of things. Valuation $178.4 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at $6 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So it's really fascinating to me, especially when I'm looking at the ETF numbers right now. And what's really fascinating to me is how the market tends to react, negatively in literally a snap. And over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 days, we were seeing actually outflows rather than inflows. And I think it was a little bit of a hiccup in the market. But look at it for yourself. Around 81.4 million and $307 million Ethereum were bought, on August 27th. Let that sink in. So those numbers of inflows that we were seeing prior to, this retracement that we did see over the course of the last, 3 to 4 days, we're back to those exact same numbers, and we're seeing the same exact trend playing, meaning Ethereum inflows for the ETF are actually exceeding Bitcoins. And that tells you we're seeing that shift coming towards ETH right now, and dominance reflects that. For more confirmation, of course, that's why the dominance index is there for us. On that note, Treasury, Scott Bessent says that there are 11 strong Fed chair candidates with interviews and shortlist presentation to Trump starting after Labor Day. So is Jerome Powell really going to, lose his job here? Because of course, there's frustration coming in because there's no rate cuts. But let me know your thoughts on this. Are we going to finally see a rate cut happening in September? Obviously, in terms of probability, it's more leaning towards that we do see a rate cut rather than not. But again, let me know your thoughts on this specific thing. But take a look at this. Enabling a new era of efficiency for on-chain finance. Stablecoin RLUSD is a crucial piece of Aves Horizon platform, allowing tokenized products to be used as collateral and flow more efficiently across markets. And this is where RLUSD is, heading towards that mainstream adoption. And we need to realize that, RLUSD hasn't been, in existence for even over a year at this point, and how much things it has been able to achieve in such a short span of time is astonishing, and we got to give credit where it belongs. And this really gives you a better understanding where RLUSD is really heading. On top of that, massive prediction coming from Dom and Phil. So pretty much what they say is ETF for XRP will be the largest in all of crypto. So even Bitcoin is pretty much what they're referring to. So what they say is clearly outlining how XRP spot ETF will have the biggest inflows in all of crypto. I'm going to share my personal thoughts with you guys on that. Only way I could see this happening is because when retail comes into crypto for the first time, they look at the dollar value. If they're looking at it from a dollar value aspect, they might see ETH is sitting at literally almost 5K a coin. And of course, ETFs don't work like that. But if you're looking at the asset itself that consists of, the ETF, when you're looking at Bitcoin, for instance, you're seeing Bitcoin sitting at $113,000. And when you're looking at Ethereum, we're sitting at about 5,000 a coin. So when you look at XRP, it's still in, single digit territory. So from that aspect, maybe you see more demand coming in. But that is quite a bold statement to be making, of course, to have it be the biggest ETF. What I'm personally projecting is we need to, compare what happened with ETH. ETH now is labeled as, I think there was a CNBC interview that I was watching. It's labeled as a Wall Street coin, which is crazy to think about. But if you're looking at it in comparison to ETH, Ethereum started off very, very slow. We had Bitcoin dominating the inflows for the ETF side. And then all of a sudden over the last 2.5 months, that's where the inflow started exceeding ETH. But look what part of the cycle we're in also. The Bitcoin has been reaching all-time high after all-time high after all-time high. Dominance was reaching yearly high after yearly high after yearly high. There needs to come a time where you do see that starting to cool off. And when Bitcoin starts cooling off, dominance starts cooling off, money flows back into altcoins. And in this case, from an institutional side of things, you're actually seeing people, when I say people, I'm not specifically talking about retail, I'm talking about, whales, hedge funds. These guys are shifting some of their profits back into the likes of ETH and maybe the top projects because, they think that opportunity is there and the ROI on some of these other coins will be higher compared to, what Bitcoin could do. So we need to also look at my last video, if you did end up watching, and I talked about Tom Lee's prediction. Tom Lee's predicting ETH, and he's predicting Q4 to be bullish. And it's not, we don't need Tom Lee to come and tell us that, Q4 generally is very bullish time for the crypto space, historically speaking as well. And of course, we've been talking about time in, time out that, Q4 is going to be a bullish time for the crypto markets. But his prediction for Ethereum is around $10,000 to $12,000 at the end of the year. And I did make my prediction for XRP, as to where XRP could be going. But I do personally think XRP could actually outpace Ethereum, early numbers, like out the gate. I think it's going to literally skyrocket compared to Ethereum inflow numbers because, of course, we're in a bull market. I think if we were to see an ETF go live in October when the deadline is, I think the timing itself is going to be perfect. The launch of the ETF would be at a perfect time, and we're going to be in a bull market. So again, that could really bring in a lot of attention. And of course, the 401ks that could potentially go live, maybe incentives for the US-based project. So, there's a lot of, future things that, could happen that could trigger even more inflows coming into, XRP. Obviously that is where the excitement really lies. And of course, if they go public, that itself will obviously have a positive impact on the price of the native token itself. Speaking about the price of the native token, I'm sure you guys know about, publicly trading company Linklogis, who has, made a major partnership yesterday about pretty much bringing their platform onto the XRP ledger. You can see this for yourself. Their shares skyrocketed 23%. So they're not coming and saying, hey, you know what, we're actually buying XRP. None of that. It was about how they're moving, they're moving their overall supply chain onto the blockchain using XRP ledger. And just that announcement itself caused their stock price to go up 23.2%, which is insane, which is literally insane. And I want you guys to really, focus on this and see what's happening. And on top of that, look at this. This is something quite fascinating to me. The rich list, right? We talk about how much XRP is needed, blah, blah, blah. And right now, 10%, obviously percentage of the people that actually hold this many coins is 2,396 XRP. And right now, that might sound like a very small amount, right? Like 2,396. But if you look at it with current prices, that's $7,188. Let's face it. If you can afford that, great. Kudos to you. But there are people around the world that, or even in developed countries, that can't afford that because they have other expenses. And that should really tell you how slowly but surely XRP is being priced out, because this exact number, the 2396 XRP, just back in November of last year, only costed you $1,200. And look how fast things have changed. So these things we need to factor in when we're analyzing the price. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think on this. But let's take a look at what's happening with the price. So Dominance is picking up right now, 58.31%. Bitcoin has claimed back above $113,000. We did get a little bit of rejection around that range, as you could see for yourself. But again, I don't want to bore you guys with Bitcoin charts. The door is still open for us to see downside, unless, of course, we reclaim back above 115. But on that note, XRP is about to reclaim back above that $3 price point. So that's lovely to see. And again, we know the significance of that key range. I know we want to see the breakout. We want to retest early August levels, break above the 23.6, reach our unofficial all-time highs. And I think, we are going to see that in the very near future based off of the way XRP consolidated over the course of the last almost 2 months. We are obviously only a move of about 14% for us to retest the 23.6 fib support, but we got to take it step by step. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Love you all. See you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.